At the New Year's family dinner, I accidentally overheard a conversation that changed my life forever. My name is Elena Carter, and in my family I was always known as the disappointment. Not because I failed, but because I refused to become like them. The Carter family owned one of the biggest construction empires in Nevada. Luxury hotels, shopping centers, private resorts. To the outside world we looked perfect. But inside that mansion, everything was rotten. My father, Richard Carter, believed money was the only thing that mattered. My older brother Lucas was the future CEO, the golden child. And my sister Vanessa, well, she had mastered the art of pretending to be sweet, while quietly destroying anyone who threatened her status. And then there was me, the girl who studied art instead of business, the girl who preferred quiet studios over corporate meetings, the girl who never fit into their world. For years they laughed at me. At family dinners they would say things like, "Art doesn't pay bills. Maybe Elena will sell paintings on the street someday." Everyone laughed, including my mother. But that night, New Year's Eve, I learned something much worse than mockery. I learned the truth. I had gone downstairs to grab a glass of water. The mansion was quiet, the party preparations happening outside in the garden. Then I heard voices coming from my father's office. The door was slightly open. I heard my sister Vanessa say something that made me freeze. "Tomorrow night will be perfect. We announce Elena is no longer part of the company." My brother laughed. "And she won't even see it coming." My heart started racing. Then my father spoke. "Calm. Cold. Good. After we remove her from the family trust, the offshore transfer will be easier." "Offshore transfer?" Vanessa lowered her voice. "The 25 million? My father replied quietly. "Yes. Once the money is moved, there's no way the auditors will trace it." I felt the air disappear from my lungs. They weren't just humiliating me. They were planning financial fraud. And they were using me as the distraction. Lucas continued. "At the New Year's party in front of everyone, we'll announce Elena is being removed from the inheritance for personal reasons." Vanessa laughed softly. "She'll probably cry." My father added the final line that shattered something inside me. "She was never meant to be part of this family anyway." Silence filled the hallway. My hands were shaking. Not because I was surprised, but because everything finally made sense. The insults, the distance, the manipulation. They had always planned to erase me, but that night something changed. Instead of crying, I smiled, because what they didn't know was that for the past 2 years, I had been quietly working in my own way. While they thought I was painting landscapes, I had been documenting everything. Every shady contract, every illegal payment, every hidden account. At first, I did it because I suspected something was wrong. But now, I realized something important. They weren't planning to destroy me quietly. They wanted to do it publicly. At the New Year's party, in front of the most powerful people in the city, which meant, if I exposed them, everyone would see it. And once the truth came out, their empire would collapse in seconds. That night, instead of confronting them, I went back to my room, opened the wooden box under my bed. Inside were dozens of documents, flash drives, bank statements, emails, proof, real proof, enough to destroy everything they had built. I stared at the documents for a long time. For a moment, I hesitated. They were still my family. But then I remembered my father's words. She was never meant to be part of this family. My hesitation disappeared. I closed the wooden box slowly and whispered one sentence to myself. Then I won't be. Outside, fireworks started lighting the sky. The new year was about to begin, and so was the end of the Carter Empire. The Carter New Year's Gala was the most exclusive event of the year. Politicians, business owners, media personalities, hundreds of powerful guests gathered in our mansion's glass ballroom. Crystal chandeliers lit the room. Champagne flowed like water. Everyone smiled. Everyone celebrated. But none of them knew that within the next hour, the entire Carter Empire would collapse. I walked into the party wearing a simple black dress. Vanessa immediately noticed me. She smiled the way predators smile. "Oh, look," she said loudly. "Our little artist decided to join us." A few guests laughed politely. Lucas joined her. "Elena, tonight is a very important night for the family," he said. His voice carried a hidden threat. "As long as you don't embarrass us." I looked at him calmly. "Don't worry," I said. "I won't." And for the first time in years, I meant it, because they were about to embarrass themselves. An hour later, my father stepped onto the stage. He raised a glass. The room went quiet. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced proudly, "before midnight we have a family announcement." Vanessa glanced at me with excitement. Lucas smirked. They thought this was their moment. My father continued. "As many of you know, family values are extremely important to the Carter legacy." The guests nodded politely. "But unfortunately," he said dramatically, "not everyone in the family shares those values." Now everyone was looking at me. Vanessa pretended to look sad. Lucas shook his head like he was disappointed. Then my father said the words they had planned for weeks. "Starting tonight, Elena Carter will no longer be part of the Carter Family Trust." Gasps spread across the room. Vanessa even wiped a fake tear. Everything was going exactly how they planned. But then, I started walking toward the stage. The room became silent. My father frowned. "Elena," he said sharply, "this is not the time." But I smiled. "Oh, I agree," I said. "It's actually the perfect time." I picked up the small remote control hidden in my hand. Behind us, the giant screen turned on. First, nothing happened. Then the first document appeared. A bank transfer. $10 million. Offshore account. The room murmured. My father's face turned pale. Then the next document appeared. Illegal contracts. Fake companies. Tax evasion. Vanessa's smile disappeared. Lucas whispered something angrily. The screen continued changing. Emails. Signatures. Transactions. Every secret they had buried. Displayed in massive detail. Right in front of the most powerful people in the city. The room erupted with whispers. Someone dropped a champagne glass. My father rushed toward me. Elena turned that off. But I stepped back and spoke loudly so everyone could hear. For years my family built their empire on lies. The room went silent. So tonight, I thought everyone deserved to see the truth. Vanessa screamed, "You traitor!" Lucas tried grabbing the remote, but security had already started approaching. Guests were pulling out their phones, recording everything. My father's voice shook with rage. "You're destroying this family." I looked at him calmly. "No," I said. "You destroyed it a long time ago." Outside, fireworks exploded as the countdown began. 10, 9, 8. But nobody was celebrating anymore. 7, 6, 5. Because the Carter Empire was collapsing. The next morning the news was everywhere. Carter Real Estate under federal investigation. Billion-dollar empire faces fraud charges. New Year's scandal shocks business world. Phones rang non-stop. Lawyers rushed in and out of the mansion. Government investigators arrived before noon. My father spent hours screaming at attorneys. Lucas tried to delete files. Vanessa locked herself in her room crying. But it was already too late. The evidence had spread everywhere. Within weeks, contracts disappeared. Investors pulled out. Banks froze accounts. Friends stopped answering their calls. The Carter empire didn't collapse slowly. It shattered overnight. As for me, I left. Quietly. No goodbye. No dramatic speech. Just one suitcase and the wooden box that started everything. 6 months later, my life looked completely different. I rented a small studio in Chicago, painted every day, sold my first collection in a small gallery, then another, and another. For the first time in my life, I was free. Free from the Carter name, free from their expectations, free from their lies. One afternoon I received a letter from my grandmother. Inside was a short note. I always knew the truth would come out one day. And another document. Her updated will. She had removed my father completely and left everything to charity. The Carter dynasty was officially over. I placed the letter inside the wooden box, closed it, and smiled. Because revenge was never the goal. Freedom was. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more powerful and unforgettable stories. And tell me in the comments, has something like this ever happened in your family? Or do you know someone who faced betrayal like this? Your stories might inspire the next one. Until the next story, take care of yourself.